Yo, YouTube, what's up? Xraypc here, and I got another video for Digimon Story Time Stranger, and this one is about the first part one of my Olympos 12 videos. I'm gonna have probably make 3 parts, simply because you got Jupitermons both forms, and then you got Chronomons both forms, and I guess I'm trying not to spoil your story spoiler, but you know, somebody turns into Chronomon who's a part of the Olympos 12, so I'm gonna count him with the Olympos 12. So yeah, Jupitermon's other form, Marsmon, Mervamon. But I already made a video about Mervamon, so maybe I do. You know what? Let me just do this. There you go. Bacchusmon, his destroy mode, and then you have Bacchusmon default mode, and then you got Junimon HM mode, holy mode maybe, I don't know, whatever. But you have HM mode or an H mode, and then you have her default mode, and then you have Grace Novamon, which is a fusion of 2 of the Olympos 12s, and then you gotta make a then I gotta put 2 of those guys in there, and then so yeah, there's a lot. And then there's like the plant one, and then the plant one has another form, so it's like, oh my god, there's so many like different ones, and then they have multiple forms and stuff. Yeah, so it's gonna take a bit. We'll probably end up with 3 parts, because I like to only do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to keep it about 6. But let's start. So we got Jupitermon WM. Jupitermon WM is a single target demon. This is the single target demon version. I have a crit rate here. I want either stout strength or the one where you start with. I mean, this one's actually not that bad, especially if you when I started putting now on my characters, so DPS characters, critical charge, because then they can just put 1 critical charge on themselves and then start going to town. That's like the only buff they have to worry about, while other people can start spamming every other buff in the game on them. But yeah, the most important buff would be like crit charge, and then that's a 30% crit boost plus I guess his 5% crit boost. That's 35% crit boost. A lot of the times you want to have the 50% damage buff from the blue steel data fragment, right? 50%, your moves do 50% more damage, but they consume double the SP. So let's say this move is a 90 damage move, and without any of the added effects is a 90 damage move. 50% of the 90 damage move is 45 damage, so it's 90 plus 45. So that's 135 if I am not mistaken. 135 base damage now, then gets amplified if the target is affected by paralysis or mobilization, you get more damage, and if the target is an evil trait, you get more damage, and if the target is weak to electric damage, you get more damage, and if your target is a virus type, you get more damage because you're vaccine. So, and then you're brave, so you penetrate 30% of the defense, so you end up just annihilating them, and then with a single crit charge on you, you literally just annihilate with both of your skills. You also have a 50% chance to apply immobilization on your skill, and then usually you would probably pair him with somebody who's electric and might have a chance to apply immobilization as well, or paralyze. So you would have a higher chance for all those things to proc. Obviously, this paralyze and mobilization won't work on certain endgame mega bosses. Like even the fight I'll show you here, I usually showcase the characters now on, is the Impale Dramon Paladin mode. That's probably the most realistic one, where it's like not at the finale of the game. And there is some that you can unlock, and if I beat the game only to on this mega playthrough and just get to the final Coliseum fight, I could do that too. But pretty much Impale Dramon Paladin mode is hard enough fight that I can showcase these characters and in a quick fashion. But that guy would tank a lot of these hits, and he will also be immune to the paralyzed and mobilization, and he's not an evil character, so you don't get all that. But even with the 90 plus the 45, it ends up being a ton. And then you have this one, performs electric physical attack at 85, single target, 50% chance with holy. So holy, there's a decent amount of holy. I think Paladin mode might even be holy as well. I'm not sure. That's like Angemon, Seraphimon, and things like that. I think those are holy traits. So Lightning Claw, you gave it a wee electric attack. Since it specializes in electric, you're going to play it with the person that lowers electric resistance, and you're going to see here in a second who does that. And they're on this one I'm about to be talking about. Performs a plant physical attack at power 11 times 7 hits. So that's usually to cover the water weakness. That's one way other than electric. There's like usually a water type would be weak to electric, or it's going to be weak to a grass type. There is some like watery based like Divermon. He's not weak to electric for some reason. He's weak to fire, I think. So it's like weird. It just really depends. This game is not like Pokemon where it's like, I'm a water type and I'm weak to this every single time. I'm a Digimon that is a machine-based Digimon. So I will have a steel typing, and then they might have like another kind of typing. So that is a reason why you would think like my steel should be resistant to water. Oh, I have this other weird big hidden typing, so that's why I'm weak to water as well as let's say electric. You know what I mean? So you gotta kind of think about that. You have to always hit Q and analyze, because you never really know until you memorize everything for one of your Mega Plus playthroughs. I feel like a good Mega Plus playthrough, and this is why I'm like making these videos, is so you could literally just go through. You should be able to do it in like speed. Like you could do speed runs. You could do no death runs, so that not even one Digimon dies. If a Digimon dies, you restart from the same save file. You know, like make the perfect save file where you have all your as many Digimon Mega that you want, and then go in, and then if you die, reset, whatever. But yeah, and then I also have Saint Knuckle to cover the dark weakness, and then I have critical charge. And you see a dark weakness, usually a holy Digimon would be weak to dark. He is a holy Digimon, he's a deity Digimon, but he's not a light based character. He doesn't have any light moves based in special kits, so that's why you have to carry a holy move. So, and he's also takes no holy damage, right? No lightning damage and no holy damage. So, boom. And then things you can equip, like I said, Blue Seal Data Fragment, Crimson Dragon Data Fragment, the Smithing God Hammer, or what you should do is the 30% Jupitermon, specific Jupitermon item, which is like these. You can equip on any character, but it's like Jupitermon's item. And it's 30% crit rate with 500 attack. The 500 attack, once you max your attack out, I don't think does anything. At least I don't think items affect you in battle. They really should. They should just give you a 500 additional. I don't know why it wouldn't. Like, it would make items kind of useless other than the crits and evasions and accuracies. But yeah, it nullifies. This one nullifies poison and deadly poison, and it gives you a steel resistance. Right now, I'm neutral to steel, so this is actually pretty good. It gives me a steel resistance. So now I would take less damage from steel. I take no damage to electric, and I take no damage from holy. The only things I'm weak to is dark, super weak to dark, and I'm weak to a little weak to water. But I think the Jupitermon one is water resistance. So I get water resistance, I resist water, I'm immune to electric, and I'm immune to holy. So that only leaves a dark weakness to him. And if you really want, and this one also gives you a water resistance, but the this one is boost your dark resistance, nullifies instant death. So if you're going against that, you could also run that as well. But I don't know, this item, the 50% more damage, it literally is so much damage. It literally calculates even before crit. So then when the crit procs, you just literally could do 99,999. I've had hits on Mega, just open world Digimon, where it hit 99,999 by Mega Gargamon on both hits. So it does a double hit, and both hits do 99,999 on their AoE. So I literally feel like, I guess you could do a playthrough where you don't rely on this one, and you could use every other item in the game. Like, you're like, I'll use every other item in the game, but I won't use this Blue Steel Data Fragment. The only reason this thing does at least balance itself out is it doesn't have any of these other things. Like, I'm open to be hit by poison, deadly poison. I guess if you get Jupitermon's item is the 30% crit and all that, but it makes you immune to all abnormalities, I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure it's that one. I don't think it's stat wall. There's stat wall where it makes you immune to all stat deductions, and then there's an abnormality one. So I'm not sure if it's that. But let's move on to Marsmon. Marsmon is a vaccine type with a fiery, background. He's also completely nulling out null type. Like, null types don't do any damage to him. And then he's resistant to fire. He only takes slight damage from water and ice, and everything else is neutral. And then he has a single target fire move, 90 damage, and the greater the user's stat buffs, the greater the damage. So obviously you're gonna pair it with somebody with cheer, and then you're like, I have crit charge on him. What you could do is another person maybe with either crit charge or some kind of other buff, and then cheer gives you attack and a magic attack, and then maybe you have somebody with like a AoE, like you could do him with a Tyrant Kabuterimon. Where is he? Right here. He gives a 100% chance to give all allies a 20% reduction to physical magical damage taken for 2 turns, and 100% chance to steal resistance buffs. So the more the buffs that he has on, the more the damage this thing does. I do not know the cap on this thing and how much buffs you can get, but I'm assuming it's just the more buffs you get, the more it just keeps adding on. Maybe it's like per buff level, it's like 5% or something, because you could get a buff up to the crown, and when it's crowned out, it has a maximum. I think the maximum is 100%. So it's like if you have 100% attack buff, 100% defense buff, 100%. I don't think it's 120%, because if you use a 50% buff twice, like a debuff on Edamon, 50% reduce attack and int twice, it crowns. So I'm pretty sure it's 100%. But yeah. Let's see, and then you have a 45 times 2, which is both 90, but this one can never be lower in damage. It does more damage against mollusks, and this one does more damage against beasts. There's actually a lot of beasts. There's not as many mollusks type, but there's a lot of beast types in the game. And performs so it hits twice, so if you crit, it will do more damage than this move right here. So that's a benefit of multi-hit moves. And then I put a grass move on him because the water weakness. I put a water move on him to just get rid of other fire types. And then usually ice types are weak to fire moves. And then I can't remember the other typing. I think water or ice types are weak to like fire, I think ground, and like wind. I think you can see in the field guide, I'm pretty sure. So let's see. Let's check for the one time. Let's go down here and let's find somebody who's like icy ice. Okay, so Dianamon, quadruple weakness to fire. Okay. Let's find another ice type. Okay, so if you fight Venusmon, weak to fire. Also, for the Vegemon's weak to fire. I'm trying to think of like who's a mollusk as well. I think this guy's a mollusk. Can you not see their traits here? Oh, mollusk type, but there's also each mon, if you go into the actual battle and you hit the scan thing, they'll have like 3 to 4 traits. Like this guy will have like, this person will have like human type or something, humanoid. Like these people have like humanoid plus evil king, I guess, plus something plus medium type, and then maybe there's like large types, and this one's also undead plus evil, or this one's like undead and evil, you know what I mean? So you have to always pay attention to all that. I just want to see who's like a water-based one. Let me try to find Divermon. Weak to fire. Here's the mollusk. I think this one counts as mollusk if you actually open it up. But yeah, weak to fire, and it's something that lives in water, but it's weak to fire and electric. You know what I mean? So it's always important, like fire weakness, fire, and you always got to look at them. And like if it says like weak to mollusks, you know what I mean, or like strong against mollusks, that adds at 50%. Just to always, I always try to like say it because people don't realize in all these videos. And then the items are the same like every time. The 50% item, or I guess if you don't have your stats maxed out, you could do like attack up. Or there's an attack item that gives you attack and crit. There's the int item gives you int and crit, like curse. I think the attack one is deadly. Yeah, it says deadly and curse. It's just things like that. But once you max it out, which is pretty easy with the farm, then you just go and do like any of the ones down here, or you do like crit up, or just default crit up, or evasion up, or accuracy up, or you go over here and give you like all of these ones. So like boost the effects of HP recovery by 50% when in battle. And I think this is boost effect of HP recovery on yourself. I don't, from people try to tell me it's a HP recovery on yourself, not you giving to other people. But I don't know, I don't think so. But it might be to yourself, because when you use him, he has a move that hits them and then gives them heal back. So probably is to yourself. So that might be like you could put this on like a tank, and the tank can receive more healing. And then you have the 50% more damage. This one's like whatever, but mainly it's like crit damage, or you do this one. And then we'll do Jupitermon. This is the one that I told you should be playing with him, where they're pretty much built to play together, yet they're the same Digimon. It's just one's the Mega Plus version, like his awakened version. Jupitermon has a single target, 100% chance to reduce their electric resistance, and then I don't think they can be stacked. You can just refresh the duration. I'm pretty sure just electric resistance gets lowered, and now they take 50% more damage from electric types. So if your move was 50%, like they're completely nullifying you out, and the lowest you could do, the highest you could do is 50%. If you hit them with this, they take 100%, like neutral damage now, right, from the move. And also reduces their defense by 30% for 3 turns. So in the same move, you can also reduce their defense, and then that's why you play him with the physical types. And then he has an AoE physical electric move, which then partners up with this. that will do 55 in AoE. Sounds low, 55, but anyone who's ultimate and down will take more damage, and anyone who's an evil trait. You can still use them as a big debuffer as well, but yeah. Right now I have X Aura and then Restore, so that I could get rid of a ton of abnormalities, injury, and disease, so that I could hit them with the X Aura, or I could help my healer. Maybe my healer has injury, and then I want to hit my healer with this, and then my healer can also then and other abnormalities make my healer stunned or something, and then my healer can pop like the injury removal on him, and then at least those two get healed or something. And then I put a single target electric. This is an AoE electric, so then I could partner better with this. And then I have Saint Knuckle, so I could deal with the dark weakness. And then when I get the Jupitermon one, I might just put the Jupitermon one anyways on the single target bit focus DPS one, but you can also put it on this one. And also planning ahead. Planning ahead is just an AoE defense and magic resist or spirit lowering just on the entire enemy field. And as long as everybody in your field has 100 bond, it will be like a 50% or a 30% reduction across the board. So it's pretty much like using this move but on everybody, and then I could use this again and it goes to the 3rd stack level, and if I use it again it caps out. But I don't have to waste my time doing that for defense, right? And then that makes it better so that I could use him with him. I could use him with Junimon HMO, who I'm about to talk about in a second. But yeah. And then we're gonna talk about Bacchusmon DM. I was gonna have him leveled up. This one I didn't think I was gonna use for this video, but then I thought about it and I was like, wait. Also, this guy, Digitamon the mollusk. This guy's a mollusk right here. But I was like, wait a minute. I just made another video about that had Mervamon in it, and I went into full detail, so I'm not doing that again. But Bacchusmon Destroy Mode, I guess, is Reversal of the Dead AoE water move. Performs a water physical attack at 90 power, AoE 90 damage. The only thing you have to worry about is you always put yourself to sleep. But if you have something where you're either the one that makes you immune to sleep, you either go over here and you get Sleep Wall 2, so you're immune to sleep and deep slumber. You don't have to worry about deep slumber being put on you. Or you get the other one where it makes you immune to multi-wall everything. Or you get the one that builds out a multi-wall, which I think is a Jupitermon item. You could do that one as well. 500 attack, 30% crit rate, plus the effect of that multi-wall one, plus weak resistance to water. You then literally are neutral to water, so now you resist water, you're immune to all grass, and you resist null type. The only thing you're weak to is a weakness to fire, and you're weak to wind. And then you just put like the 50% more damage but takes more thing, and then I put a single target water move because of AoE water move, and then I have an AoE ice move, and then you can put this as anything. It just depends on the fight, I guess. This one's gonna be the interchangeable slot. You can just change it to whatever the fight is. And then I put guard field, but I would rather put the crit charge, and then I put attack field. I think I like attack field as well because it makes it so I can make my entire team do more damage in case it's a boss fight, and if you want to use this guy in boss fights. I think the default version is better for boss fights. So let's go here and just click on this and show you. His single target or this other version has the actual single target move that hits for 90 damage and heals him, and is good against fish trait, which is a lot of fish types, and there's a lot of fire traits. There's a lot of fish traits, especially because you got to go to the water-based world, and there's a lot of them in the Colosseum. And then there's a lot of fire-based traits because you can go farm in the fire zone, the entire area that's literally built around fire trait Digimon. And then the other ones are based around ice Digimon, so that's anyone with fire and ice, they're really strong against that. And then this is an AoE 55 move, obviously weaker than the other one, but it doesn't have any detriment to put you to sleep. It's a 30% chance to apply Immobilize as well though, so he can still work with like somebody like Jupitermon HM. And then you just put like this different things on that based on the, and it's a mode change, so you can kind of interchange these without losing stats. That's the whole point of a mode change. Some mode changes have like a move where it's like, if you use this move, you mode change. She doesn't have it either, but hers is like this, so this mode is like Junimon base has a dark physical move 30 times 3, 100% chance to apply deadly poison. So if you have somebody who does more damage if they get deadly poison, boom. And then she has a counter physical that does AoE physical 105 damage. AoE physical. So literally every time you get hit by a physical move, you hit them with an AoE move when you go into the stance. And you just pair her, you hit this move, and then you have somebody with the there's a move that you put them on, put on them. We'll go here. Let's go here now. It's gonna go talk about her, and then let's go here, and you give them hate charge, and you apply taunt to the unit. So let's say she applies that the counter stance, right? And then you go to this character, maybe give her an attack up with one of your items, unless you're Mega Plus, and then you give her hate charge. Put hate charge on her, and then you put like another character, and that puts like a either crit charge on her or attack charge on her, and then you just ramp her damage up like a ton, and then you just annihilate. You know what I mean? So it's you can kind of go one or the other. This one's a hyper single target damage focused one, while that one is like a kind of single target but also AoE kind of defense demon. But yeah, this one's a single target. As you can see, the stats there, and max out attack, max out speed, and then HP, SP. The only reason you would do like attack and int is if it's a kind of a dual attack with their skills here, and then the only reason you do int and not attack is if they're pure magic. I feel like that's obvious, but I'll just say it here. And then a single target move that's 18 times 6 would good against angels, and then like Xraypc and things like that. And then you have I think she actually might count as an angel type if you like fight her in the story and then you check her traits. So and the next time you play a Mega and you go to her fight, I think you could use her, but you know, maybe save before you go into the fight, and then you use her and then you slap because maybe she's not angel. And then this one's good against humanoids, which I'm pretty sure is her. Like I'm actually pretty sure she's angel for sure, and then I'm pretty sure she's a humanoid for sure. I mean, she's literally humanoid. But usually the humanoids are like Angemon, Angelwoman, her, I think Beelzemon and Beelstarmon and things like that. So I think those are all like humanoid traits. If the target is affected, Justimon, I think. If the target is affected by stat changes, increase damage, 100 damage. So if they even have a defense down or defense up, attack down or attack up, anything that affects their stats at all, even crit down, anything, it affects them. So anything in this entire thing except for the ones that are like actual, like, so anything from here and up counts as a stat down. So boom, that's why I equip at least Garbine just in case the person who would put the stat down is dead. Then I have this on her. Then I have a null attack type, so just in case. Then it also has crit on it, so that helps a lot with crit charge. And then and this is good against most types. Most types don't resist null, most people. And if they do, then you still have other moves. And then you have this move, which is 18 times 6 move, which is one of the hardest hitting moves in the entire game, other than just your other one where if they even have a defense down to get destroyed. But yeah, it's 108 damage. 108 damage is a lot. And then you still have your thing where it's 100 damage, and then I think it's just a flat damage buff. I think it's just if the target is affected by stat changes, decrease damage, which would be I think it would be the 50% damage buff to that target, and then at the humanoid it would be another 50%. But if you defense down them, obviously more damage. So you maybe she crit buffs herself and the other person defense downs, or you pair her with somebody like I have on him, planning ahead at the start of battle, reduces defense and magic resist for all enemies based on the total bond of all battle members. So boom. And now with Bond Max, they did it with the new patch. Everybody gets like 10% more crit. I don't know how much a crit, but I'm pretty sure it's 10% crit. I wish we could actually see that page. There's no way to see crit in this game. I think there was in Cyber Sleuth, but for some reason in this game they wanted to hide that. But I think everybody has a base 10% crit as long as you have a 100 bond. So yeah, so something like this would have like 25% crit now. So it just helps out a little bit. And then everything else, just the Jupitermon item, the blue steel, etc., etc. Everything I talked about before, deadly, yeah. Move on to Grace Novamon, the magic damage demon. The kid's character is super broken, super fun, and one of my favorite magic characters in the entire game. Grace Novamon is the fusion of Dianamon and Apollomon, and that's how you get the Digimon. And then I think you have to be rank 9 in your. I think you have to be rank 9 in your agent rank to get it. If not, rank 8 at least. That's how you get some other fusions. But yeah, performs a single target magic fire attack that also destroys ice trait Digimon. So if you go to the Dianamon world, you can destroy all those type of Digimon. And then the ice move destroys all fire Digimon, and also is an AoE fire move or AoE magic ice move. There's 20 times 4, so that's 80 damage base without any like crits or anything. And then if the target is affected by status abnormalities or injury or disease, right, which is kind of still a status abnormality, but it doesn't count in the spectrum of status abnormalities. Injury and disease is kind of a separate entity. Increased damage. So literally, if they're poisoned, deadly poisoned, immobilized, put to sleep, like anything like that, and then injury and disease, you'll do more damage, and then increased damage of fire traits. So yeah, and then I have a single target ice move and an AoE fire move to complement the ones I have here. And then I have spell boost. I think that's actually really good here. And then I have critical charge. The benefit of this is because you could already kind of double your damage anyways with combo magic, and then you would just pair this with a healer that has the 200% overheal, and so then you always get combo magic off the proc, because they're probably never gonna fix that unless people just complain in mass, which I don't really see people. I don't see a reason to complain about that, since it's just single player and there's no like leaderboard. Like, I would love a leaderboard rogue like endless survival dungeon thing where you just keep fighting mega level Digimon over and over, like mega plus like difficulty, and you fight them over and over and over, and you get to see a leaderboard who got farthest or something, you know, some kind of replayability to the game. There's not really like a replayability other than just making new mega plus and playing that, so that kind of sucks. But that's what we're missing with we used to have PvP, now it's a replayability, but because we don't have that, there's not really like a replayability to this game. They kind of sacrifice, I guess, the replayability to like go back and redo all the code, and they just didn't have time to add anything like replayable, you know. I guess there's like kind of the Apollo 12 fight where you fight after you beat the game, and then you go back into your save, you can fight them again for a quest that gives you 150 thing, and then you can also do the Royal Knight one, and then there's like the Coliseum fights you can kind of do it over, and then there's like the one you unlock at the end game. There's like the Pildramon one, and then there's like the Agumon Bond of Bravery and the Gabumon Bond of Friendship one. They're like raid level, but other than that, like, I mean, that's just for your satisfaction. You know what I mean? That's not really like something that's somebody's gonna care about you doing. And then obviously his equipment's the same thing: Blue Seal Data Fragment, Crimson Dragon Data Fragment, Deadly or not Deadly, Curses, Int plus Crit. You can do Pure Crit. You could do the ones over down here for crit here, or you could do the 30% crit, and then you could do the you could do Edamon's Ring, your vaccine. You'll take 30% less damage from virus on top of your virus. You already take no damage from viruses, so you can pretty much null out virus. You can get stat wall, so you never be your stats reduced. Multi-wall. I think instant death counts outside of multi-wall, because all these above it, like crystallization, everything, those are all abnormalities. Then it does abnormality here. I think bug wall, I don't think gets affected by status abnormalities. I think instant death is not counted in here either. So yeah. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll make more later about this one. I think the next one I'm doing is the Justimon one, because somebody wanted Justimon, so I'll do Justimon and Machinedramon, who are in the cinematic. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Peace out. Have a great day, and love y'all.